Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, and now that the secret is out that we are going to need elves enabled to unlock Elrond, I just wanted to put a quick free-to-play guide together to help you guys build that team up, to make sure that you have what you need, to make sure that you can at least get that 5-star unlock for Elrond, because he is going to be a very good character, and even at 5 stars, you're going to have a really good team that you can put together to at least try and take on those higher tiers of the arena, and also the chapters, whether it's the light side or the guild nodes. This is going to be a very, very strong team indeed. Now, if we have a look at the elves that are currently in the game, if you need 5 elves, there are only 5 that you can get, which means that Arwen is going to be very, very important for you to collect in the upcoming event. Now, there is a chance that Elladan may also be added before the Elrond event drops. If that is the case, you do want to make sure that you get him, because he may actually be a requirement rather than just elves. But regardless of that, if he is going to be in the game, another very good character that you're going to want to add to your collection regardless. So the first thing that we want to do is see if we can work out what the requirements are going to be to unlock Arwen in the first place. If you have a look at the very first tier of the event, in the description it does say Arwen, her brother Elrahier and others team up to clear a path across the Misty Mountains between Mirkwood and Rivendell. That being the case, Elrahier is going to be the one that we really need to focus on, and luckily in the last update they actually moved him into the guild chapters. You can find him in chapter 3 on the very first node. Very easy to access, very easy to farm. You want to make sure that by the time this event drops, you have him at 5 stars. Now, I will assume that the event is going to run for about a week, so even if he's not quite at the 5 stars by the time it starts, you might still have that extra time to grind him out so you can do those higher levels. If you think that might be a little bit tough, we'll put it into perspective. A lot of people that did grind out Gaza very early on had to get 180 shards just to unlock him, and most people did that comfortably within the first week. So to get an extra 130 to get a 5-star character, it's not really out of the realms of possibility. Just make sure all of those free energy boosts all go into that one node. Try and get him up to that 5-star mark as a priority. Now, lots of players were expecting the Road to Rivendell characters, including myself, to be the ones that you needed for Elrond, so a lot of players are ahead of the game in farming up those characters and possibly already at 5 stars at least. So if that's the case, you will also have those extra characters that you can use to try and unlock Arwen in those events. If you don't have any other characters at 5 stars, then it will be a bit more of a task to try and get her up to that 5-star level, but you can unlock her at 3 stars, so at least that's a starting point. But it may just mean that you won't get to unlock Elrond the first time around, but that's perfectly fine. If you miss out, keep building up the team and you will get him when that event does come around again. Now, once you do have Elrahier up and running, it's time to shift the focus onto Neymari. She is now in Guild Chapter 2 on the very first node. Very accessible to everybody, just the same as Elrahier. You want to do exactly the same thing that you did for him to upgrade her all the way up to that 5-star level. Once you're at the 5 stars, then you can start working a little bit higher, but that's going to be the level that you're going to need just to unlock Elrond in the first place. But if you do have time before the R1 event ends, this is another character that you can quite easily farm up to that level, so that you might be able to get her to that 5 stars before the R1 event finishes. Now, our other 2 elves, Lomian and Lalail, they're both going to be substantially harder to farm, simply because you can only do 5 shards at a time. So the way that I would approach this is make sure that you're saving all of your crystals from your daily objectives and from your arena payouts each day, and just use them to refresh the nodes so that you can farm them at least one more time. That's only 25 crystals to refresh. You can go again for 50, and that way you'll have up to 15 opportunities to farm them every single day. So that's a possibility of 30 shards per day. I know you're not actually going to get that kind of drop rate, but if you can get somewhere between 10 and 16 shards per day from these characters, then you're going to start being able to promote them pretty quickly, and there is a chance, depending on when that Elrond event does come around, that you will be able to have them all at 5 stars by that time. Now, if by chance Elrond does get put in the game before the Elrond event does come around, that's fine. Whichever one of those 2 elves there you've got on higher shards, you can just focus all your energy onto them. Just keep in mind that Lomian is under the Rivendell tag, so he will synergize a little bit better than Lalael, but she is a pretty decent damage dealer, so having her at a higher star level is never going to hurt you anyway. Now, in terms of leveling them up and putting gear on them, how far should you take them? What I would be doing is maybe leveling them up to somewhere around level 30, just to make sure that you can put all the gear on them that you need to put on. I think having them at around about gear 5 is going to be the bare minimum to be able to get through that Arwen event. You may need to gear them a little bit higher, but just make sure that you gear them all up to level 5 first, before you start using up all your gear for those higher levels. In terms of abilities, I would make sure that everything is at level 3 if you can. Be very selective when it comes to promoting anything up to that level 4 ability, because those purple ability mats do get used up very, very quickly, and it does start getting very expensive. If there is one character that you would probably want to be using them on, I would say Elrahier would be the one to focus on any purple ability mats, especially when it comes to his passive ability, which really ramps up that crit damage, and if you can max that out at some point, he will always retaliate if one of his allies is attacked while taunting or provoking. That will do a hell of a lot of damage to the opposition, and because they're forced to attack those other characters, he can really cut down a team very, very quickly. If you do have any specific questions on any of these characters, pop it in the comments down below. I'll answer everyone as quick as I possibly can. And as we get more information on the Elrond event, we can adjust things as we go. But this should put you in a very good position to unlock Elrond as soon as that event does come around. That's it for this one, guys. Don't forget, like and sub. You know the deal. We got plenty more Heroes of Middle-earth coming your way. Don't miss out, and we'll catch you in the next one.